have to understand true faith, true hope, true charity. So many Americans are shell-shocked by the passage of this bill. Where do we go from here? What do we do? On Saturday, I'm going to provide direction. I have some of the best people in the country that are joining me. They helped me put this together. I mean, I've got articles in here that are just absolutely fantastic. The importance of limited power. Judge Andrew Napolitano is going to be there with me. Damon Vickers, we're at a crossroads. What will our legacy be? Ben Sherwood, how to survive anything. Karl Rove wrote for this. Burton Folsom Jr. It's really good. And you'll notice that as you walk in, you'll notice that these are big binders. These are big rings here. And that's because you have to add to it. This is the beginning. I'm going to be on stage throughout the day, including giving the keynote speech. You don't want to miss a second of it, because it's really not me teaching you. It's me trying to help you teach others. And there will be a question and answer session and everything. We'll talk about how our faith has been rotted from the inside. We need to get back into our churches. But people like Jeremiah Wright and the president's new spiritual advisor, Jim Wallace, have helped rot our churches and our faith from the inside. How does faith figure into restoring the country? Find out. Hope. Hope is something that we heard Barack Obama all the time during that incredibly long 2-year presidential campaign. Hope, hope, hope. What he has delivered instead are lies, deception, secrecy, division. I mean, how can America have hope if we can't even hear the truth? I will tell you the truth on Saturday. Progressives have done such an effective job perverting charity over the years. It is stunning. There are millions of people who accept now that social justice comes from the government. It doesn't. It comes from individuals and God. But it's people like Wallace teaching us that that is the essence of the Bible.
Are you then calling for the redistribution of wealth in society?
Absolutely, without any hesitation. That's what the gospel is all about.
That is so ridiculous and so easily disproven. These are some of the things we're going to talk about on Saturday. What is real charity and where does it come from? Progressives have taken control of the conversation surrounding faith, hope, and charity, and they are perverting it. They've taken over our educational system. They've taken over everything. This weekend, join me as we start taking it back. It's first class at Beck University, if you will. And you're not going to get revisionist history. You're going to get the actual history. In order to restore America, we must first know what America was. We'll be covering that on Saturday. Our first stop of the American Revival Tour is in Orlando. The next stop is in Phoenix. It begins in Orlando at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's going to be a long day. Bring a piece of paper and a pencil, and there's going to be a lot of writing you're going to take away with this booklet. You leave with 150 pages of start your life as an evangelist for this country. Be an evangelist for the cause of America, the cause of freedom. Saturday, restore yourself, so you can help restore your friends, your families, and America. The American Revival Tour. Join me, please, this weekend in Orlando, Florida. Tickets are still available at glennbeck.com. I will see you there Saturday. Healthcare in America has been socialized. New book talks about the Democrats deliberately deceiving Americans in order to get the bill passed. It also talks about how anyone who questions this administration or its allies are treated like terrorists. We have been talking about this for the last couple of days to point out specific examples from the book. Author Michael Graham is here, also radio talk show host.
Great to be back.
How are you, sir? Good. So here's the book. That's No Angry Mob. That's my mom.
Right.
You take the left apart piece by piece using specific examples. My theory is they keep poking and poking and poking and saying, come on, you know you want to hit me. You want to hit me. Come on, hit me. Give me some examples.
Well, I love your metaphor, the poking, because you remember Scott Brown's race of Massachusetts. I think the moment that both won the race for him and kind of symbolized the attitude that the left has towards normal Americans who just showed up and asked, hey, what about this bailout stuff, was the moment when a reporter from the Weekly Standard went up to Martha Coakley and just asked a question. Explain us again your position on terrorism. Her direct answer was, next question. And then as she walked away, he tried to follow her. One of her handlers, a paid Democratic stooge and union guy, shoves the reporter to the ground.
I believe we have the videotape. Can we play the videotape here?
That's him falling into the fence thing.
Yeah, I'm fine. Remember the meeting? Yes, I am. You are? Yes, you are, Carl. Right here, sir. Right here.
You see as he's pushing him? I just want to go by. I just want to do my job.
Sir.
Now, who is, Michael, refresh my memory, who is the guy hassling the reporter there?
He's a longtime Democratic activist who had worked for John Kerry in the past. And the entire story is in the book. And my point is that metaphor of, hey, what are you doing asking questions? You're not asking questions. Shove to the ground. Then you get up. Shove again. Shove again. Shove again. I think Nancy Pelosi marching through the protesters on the eve of the health care battle with that big mallet in her hand, she was asking for, she was saying yet again, just try, don't even look at me. I'm in charge here. Right. You people sit down and shut up.
You know, I was talking about it a couple of days ago. You know, you have kids. If you discipline your kids or you spank your kids, the first thing when I got spanked as a kid, my father would hug me and he'd say, son, I'm sorry, you know, but you have to learn this is for your own good. But he always hugged me and told me he loved me. Have you noticed the president hasn't done that after health care?
No.
He pushes. They push, 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 get it done. He said you can't govern by passing health care with 51 votes.
Right.
They didn't even have that. So, Michael, what...
Well, I want to get back to that hug, because when Barack Obama's hugging you on health care, he's reaching for your wallet. That's what's happening. Right. And so here's his problem. People know it, so they keep asking questions. So what happens? You denounce him. My president called my mom in Columbia, South Carolina, and all the Tea Partiers who showed up, radicals and extremists. Excuse me. They're showing up at an event about the future of America. Sitting congressmen have called us evil mongers, hate mongers, brown shirts. Brian Baird compared us to the brown shirts. What better way to shut up my nice little mom down in Columbia, South Carolina, than to tell her, you know, there's something wrong with you for asking these questions. Aren't you a hater?
But isn't really, it's not just the administration, it's the media, with an exception of Fox. It is.
Well, I'm not ashamed to say I have an entire chapter in the book dedicated to how great a job Fox News does compared to everyone else. Fox News wouldn't let a newsman on the air who went on the absolutely insulting attack rants that we hear from other networks, where they call, once again, people like my mom, racist and bigots. They have a regular guests on the other cable channels who say that Tea Partiers are mentally challenged, the racist teabaggers. That's not part of a debate. They're not trying to prove a point about how we're going to save money on cutting Medicare. This is about you have to shut up. You have to shut up now. So what happens? We get mad. We don't like being called racist. We don't like being insulted. We don't like being lied to. And then you're right, Glenn. Somebody somewhere gets so mad they do something stupid, and immediately the entire movement is attacked. It's a plan.
Thank you, Michael. The name of the book is That's No Angry Mob, That's My Mom, by Michael Graham. Pick it up. Bookstores everywhere. Thanks, Mike. You know, I think it was Paul Harvey that said the best thing the media could do to understand the country is to move out of New York City and move into the center of the country. Paul Harvey taught me a lot just by listening to him over the years. I remember listening to him when I was a kid. We're going to take his advice tomorrow. I feel once in a while we have to take our show out of the jaded hustle and bustle of New York City and sit down with Americans who actually see America, you know, from not the viewpoint of Park Avenue. And those voices that are often ignored, especially by the mainstream media. There's a whole big country out there away from our big cities, and often that's where the real passion of patriotism burns the brightest. Tomorrow, the program comes to you live from Orlando, Florida, with an audience of people who have plenty to say about the events of the last few days and what lies ahead. Join me tomorrow. From New York, good night, America.